Hi everybody, I'm Jason Fenichel. This lesson is going to focus on the feeling of push-pulls, feeling of a one-handed roll. And that's what we're trying to condition. Now in the workouts we do it more as a triplet, which we'll get into. But for right now I just want to concentrate on how to feel this and how to find it. There's a million videos demonstrating this, and a lot of them are really good and a lot of them are really fast and they have it down. But I really want to break it down and show you how to find this particular feeling. It's not so much of a strength issue. It's more of a balance issue. So the first thing that we got to work on, as I've mentioned in the past, even with your open double strokes, is that feeling of the fulcrum. If your fulcrum isn't there, you won't have anything together. So the fulcrum is that feeling of your thumb and your fingers connecting with the stick, and it makes the seesaw. Now, I've talked about this in tons of previous lessons. When we talk about an open roll, this is a very important thing to understand. And it's pretty much that same concept. So that's why the full stroke, which is also another lesson, is so important, because that helps you develop that feeling of the fulcrum. But without going too deep into that, I want to just talk about getting this push-pull from the fulcrum feeling. Okay, so now assuming that your fulcrum is good and you have a good sense of how to find just that, that means the stick is rebounding. Now notice, just as in with the double stroke, if I let it out, the energy comes all the way back. Now I'm also coming from a whip here to give myself a little more power. Now if I keep my fingers in a little bit, it gives us that double stroke feeling. We talked about this when we do our open double roll. But this time what I want to do is I'm going to let my fingers out and let the stick rebound off my fingers and let gravity bring it back down. And then I'm going to control it. Now notice the difference is I'm not coming down and just pushing to get that open double. I'm opening the stick and letting it pop back. And then I'm letting it come down with gravity. Therefore, you're going one motion with your wrist, but you get two hits. The benefit of that is that you could keep that momentum going if you just find the balance of keeping it in time. Now you've noticed I'm dropping that. And see that fulcrum where my thumb is? And my wrist is coming down. As my wrist comes down, the stick pops. Now I'm actually grabbing this here. You're not supposed to do this, but I'm grabbing it just to show you that position one is one. It starts there. Then gravity, if I just open it up, it falls down. 1, 2. 1, 2. Down, gravity. Push, pull. Now they call it a pull, but that's not really that accurate. You're not really pulling with your fingers. You're really just controlling it with your fingers. And as you get faster, you just want to find that balance. Because if you start pulling, you're going to lose that balance, and it's just going to buzz out. And you don't want that. You want it to be nice and relaxed. And you want it to stay relaxed in one motion. 2 hits. Push, pull, push, pull. Now there's a couple of ways to develop this feeling. One way is to sit there and just do it like we're doing there. So here's the metronome at 60 beats per minute. And I'm just going to practice 16th notes. 1 E, 2 E, and but really it's an 8th note with the wrist. So I'm really feeling 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Notice I'm controlling my fingers, keeping everything down, and just start using a wrist motion to get my 8th note. To do the push-pull, I'm going to open those fingers up a little bit. Those fingers are going to come out, not that much, but they're going to come out a little bit more like that. And I'm going to... Now notice I'm trying to isolate my forearm, and I'm just dropping that wrist. And I'm just going to hold that for about a minute. When I feel like I have that down for about a minute, it's good to time yourself, by the way, when you do this. I'll go ahead and do it with my left hand, and then I'll bring the tempo up 5 clicks and do it again. Now we could also do the same thing on the left hand, if you notice. Now I'm going to do it in traditional first. Now if you notice, I'm really in my traditional grip, letting my fingers out. Now if you notice in the left hand, I'm really letting that go. Really opening up those fingers. I'm letting that thumb, let that fulcrum kind of come back over my thumb. It's very hard to control. It's actually easier in the left hand for me to go faster because there's all that downward pressure on the stick. But the match grip is pretty much the same vibe as your right hand. It's just a matter of finding that isolation and getting it to do its thing. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. Slowly. The best thing you can do is get yourself into a chart, get yourself into a routine where you can actually work on this balance and relaxation and isolation in the wrist. You don't want to use too much of your arm as you get faster. Now this becomes the challenge because it's very tough to shut off your muscles and make these go fast. But the practical use of these is great. So we'll demonstrate a little bit of this on the drum set so you can see exactly how this push-pull feeling works in a musical situation. Now you could do this at all different tempos, and because of the nature of the feeling, tempo really stops being an issue once you really have it under control. I'm going to do it at a medium jazz tempo, and you'll see it on the right hand, you'll see it on the left hand. I'm going to over-exaggerate it a little bit just so you could get an idea. Okay, now let's take a look at this in a filling situation. This is something you see Buddy Rich do all the time. If you watch old videos of him moving around the kit, he'll do something where he's playing around. That right hand's leading. That left hand seems like it's rolling. It's not really rolling. He's really just doing this push-pull thing and making it sound like an even triplet. But you notice I'm getting singles in that right hand. So it's leaving me straight ace up here and then rolling in that left hand. But it's really that push-pull that's giving him that vibe of moving around the kit. If you've been checking out these drum lessons and you're really enjoying it, you'll notice that I always incorporate certain techniques that help me get the sounds to really feel good. Now, with the drummersalmanac.com, we practice this type of stuff every single day. And these are the little ins and outs and the little parts of your touch and your feel that drummers are missing. The biggest challenge I see with my students is that they might understand the technique, but they haven't put the time in. Basically, you come in and you think of it like a workout. You practice along with me, and we do these type of things together in a very concentrated routine. There's nothing else like this on the web. I really want you to check it out. So once again, it's thedrummersalmanac.com. I'll see you guys there.